And we are about to be underway here. The gun is up. And we are off. And it's an opportunity to see Alicia Monson, the #1 ranked runner in the nation, coming off the best cross-country race of her career when she beat Wayne Kaladi at the Nuttycombe Invitational, running away from her to put up a huge victory there, Gordon, and cement her status as the favorite. And for this race, I think it's just a matter of when she wants to make her move.
Yeah, it's interesting how, looking back at how Alicia has approached the Big Ten Championships in general has been very interesting. You saw her with Amy Davis at the indoor championships when they were kind of going 1-2. She kind of likes to play with toil with the field a bit, knowing that she's a national caliber athlete going against some of these, just Big Ten caliber athletes. She looks at this as a more of a workout session as opposed to, a true going to the depth session.
And Michigan is going for 4 in a row.
Depths. I don't know what I was trying to say. I apologize.
Michigan going for 4 in a row
Yes.
here, Gordon, and Wisconsin asserting themselves early like they did in the men's race. And maybe that's something that Monson does here too, in addition to winning the individual race. Maybe there's some strategy in her helping her teammates along in the early miles. Because as you mentioned, Michigan, Wisconsin, close this year in the rankings. They've never matched head-to-head this season. Michigan's run at Nichols and Prenats in the Big Ten preview. Wisconsin ran at Notre Dame and Nuttycombe. So these two teams have never met. So maybe for Monson, lays back a little bit early on, knowing that she can make a push later and tries to pack in the Wisconsin team.
Yeah, and Michigan is a good team to watch. We preseason ranked them in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Right now they come in ranked 7th after their invitational results. But right now being led by Erica Vanderland, the true freshman, we'd like to say the second coming of Aaron Finn potentially. Up front for the Wolverines. Coach McGuire got a great squad this year. A lot of depth, I would say. Young depth, too. They had a bunch of sixth-year seniors last year all graduate. So now they're kind of a new generation of Wolverines and back in podium contention once again. And now being led by a true freshman going up against this Wisconsin and Michigan State squads here this afternoon.
And it's no surprise that Vanderland's in front. That's what she's done in her previous races, and she's run against really good competition before. She said that was her plan at pre-nationals, go to the front, run with them as long as she could. She ended up finishing 5th at pre-nats in a very competitive race. John McNichols earlier this year, she was 4th. This is her MO. This is how she likes to run. And for Monson, probably good. Gives her someone to push her a little bit, someone to keep her company. Also keeps the pace honest as well. She's not going to let it lag.
Weather out there right now is 48 degrees with a 10-mile-per-hour wind, so a little windy. See how that affects the athletes as they go through this winding course in the beginning part. Ohio State gets some action up front, the host school. They have two good runners in Abby Nichols and Julia Ritz. Julia Ritz, the NCAA champion in the indoor mile. So look out for her, see how she does here in her final cross-country season.
That's Nichols up front, won a Big Ten title outdoors for the Buckeyes, and 2:44 for Indiana. That's Bailey Kurtenstein, who's been having just a breakout year this year for the Hoosiers. Last year, she was 70th at this meet, Gordon, but has taken a big leap up. She was 2nd at the Buckeye Preview, 57th at Nuttycombe. So she was 28th at Big Tens last year and 127th at NCAAs, and she was 7th at Joe Piani, 16th at Nuttycombe. My apologies there for Kurtenstein. So she's someone to watch. Freshman to sophomore year has just made a huge leap. One of the top runners in the nation, still in the top 25 right now for the Hoosiers.
Looking at the team splits, they crossed 1K about a few minutes ago. The team splits were Wisconsin in the lead with 67 points, Michigan 73, Michigan State 110. So everyone with their top 5 in the top 25, top 30. So obviously, beginning part of the race, team scores really are irrelevant until we start seeing some separation.
And if you look at it just based on rankings and the results this year, you have that first group, Michigan, Wisconsin, Michigan State, and then there's a little bit of separation between those other 4 ranked teams, Ohio State, Indiana, Illinois, and Penn State. So that'll be fun to track too, sort of that race for fourth amongst that second group, or can someone in that second group get into the top 3? Illinois has run really well this year. They came to this course earlier in the year, got second at the Big Ten preview meet behind Michigan, but ahead of Ohio State and Penn State. So watch out for Illinois as well. Maybe they can sneak in and grab a top 3 finish. That would be huge for their program. Vanderland continuing to lead. Monson to her left. Kurtenstein there. And that looks like Annie Fuller of Michigan State on the right there in the green. You also have Rebecca Craddock of Illinois up there. Lainey Studebaker, Julia Risk, and Abby Nichols all in that top pack for Ohio State.
There's definitely an eclectic amount of different teams represented in that front group. Not as much packing up front, but more the individuals go to the front, and then the 2, 3, 4 runners from each squad kind of pack up with their teammates because, you have Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan State, Penn State, Illinois, and Minnesota all represented in that top 10.
So we're approaching the 2-kilometer split, so we'll have a check of the scores here momentarily. Vanderland continues to lead. Monson shadowing her. I'm sure she's more than satisfied to have the freshman do the work in the early miles.
So we're coming up on a 2K mat momentarily. We'll see them cross it very soon. Here we are. So about 2K and about 6:57, 6:58.
And the men did 3 loops, the women do 2, and then to the finish. So straightforward, but some hills,
Michigan
sharp turns as well.
is taking the lead with 72 points. Penn State 89, Wisconsin 98, Michigan State 107. Very close, I would say. Looking at the way they're scoring from 1 through 5, all these among these top 4 teams, it's very, even. It's just a place here or there that kind of separates it. So Michigan with their top 5 in the top 21. Penn State's 5th is 37th, so they're struggling with their 5th. Wisconsin has their top 5 in the top 33. Michigan State, they're 4th, but they have a pack. They have Annie Fuller up front, but then they're in 24, 25, 28, 29, 31, 32. So they have their 2 through 7 just all running together in that 24 to 30 range.
It's vintage Walt Drenth there for you for Michigan State, getting all those top runners packed in there. A small 1 through 5 spread. It's been the bread and butter. Nice shot downhill there as Vanderland leads. Monson, Kurtenstein, and Fuller. I like the course. I like the up and down. Adds some character. Back and forth. An easy course to navigate here. You see just how steep that hill is. Last year's Big Ten championship course was a big hill to the finish. This one, not easy as well. Not a pancake. So there's Vanderland. So through 2,000 meters, like you mentioned, Gordon, there's still a very tight pack there. We probably had 25 women within 2 seconds of each other. And now you're seeing a little bit of separation from that first 10 or 15. Trails off a bit. The hill's taking a toll. We're 3 weeks away from the NCAA championships, but this is a special meet for these teams. Winning a Big Ten title is a priority for all these teams, regardless of their ambitions after the conference meet. These schools want to do as well as possible in this conference meet, and that's not necessarily the case with every single conference.
Yeah.
But if you talk to the Big Ten coaches, this is important.
Yeah, this is, not equivalent, but it's in the same category as, how you do at Nationals, is how you do at Big Tens. And right now, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Penn State, controlling this race. They're all together. Michigan State up in there. Not really a heavy favorite team-wise yet. We know Michigan, the top-ranked team on paper, with their 7th-ranked national ranking. But we'll see how this plays out when we get to the 3K split. They're about to cross that 3K mat momentarily, and we'll be able to understand how the team, there you go, they cross that 3K mat, see how the team battle is at the halfway point.
Vanderlyn has taken the gloves off. She continues to lead.
So it looks like Wisconsin with the lead now with 69 points. Michigan State now moving into second with 84. Michigan dropping to third with 90. And Penn State in fourth with 124.
Minnesota running well in sixth there, ahead of 2 ranked teams in Ohio State and Illinois. Good run so far for the Golden Gophers.
So even though Michigan State is in second, they have their best 5th woman and 6th woman. So their 5th is 23rd versus Wisconsin's 5th is 33. Also, Michigan State's 6th is 24 and their 7th is 26. So Michigan State has the numbers. They just need to get those numbers a little better. They need each runner close 2 or 3 places, and they'll be able to take down Wisconsin right now, with Wisconsin in the lead 69 points to Michigan State's 84.
Trying to stop that 4-peat from the Wolverines. Vanderlyn now without the gloves, still leading there, 3.5 kilometers in. You see Monson and then her teammate Amy Davis behind her. 2 Indiana runners up there led by Kurtenstein, and then there's Fuller of Michigan State and Catherine Monks of Penn State. And it looks easy right now for Alicia Monson. If you just zero in and look at her form and look at her body language, she seems under control as expected.
And keep an eye on there on the left side of your screen behind Vanderlyn. That is Abby Nichols. Like we said, she's outdoor 5K champion. She's on her home course. She's a junior. Looking to kind of mix it up there with the top nationally ranked individuals in Monson and Vanderlyn. And looks smooth there in that top 5. You see that shot there with Monson, Vanderlyn, Davis, Fuller, and Nichols.
And of course, that Big Ten Outdoor Championship last year, a little different because Alicia Monson wasn't there, or she wasn't there in full force, I should say. Had an injury last spring coming off of a sensational indoor season where she won the NCAA title. So that opened the door for some other athletes, and Abby Nichols took full advantage in Iowa City that day. So this group is starting to thin out now.
They're going to cross the 4K mat momentarily.
So even more separation there. The backside of this loop right now. The 5K split will be at the end of the loop, and then from there they'll just retrace their steps from the start where they had basically made it a C shape and then run into the finish.
So here comes the 4K mat. Right here on this turn. So hit 4K in about 13:40. So Wisconsin has 2 in the top 5. Indiana has 2 in the top 10. Ooh, Michigan State has 5 in the top 17. So
6 in the top 19.
6 in the top 19. So right now Michigan State taking a commanding lead here at the 4K split. Michigan State with 63. Michigan with 85. Wisconsin 75. And then there's a big drop-off. So Michigan State gaining 21 places in that last K with their depth. You know, they don't have a front runner. I guess they do with Annie Fuller, but when you're 2 through 6 or 12, 13, 15, 17, 19, it's a good sign.
Yeah, and for Michigan, they have 2 in the top 8 with Vanderlyn and House. But then after that, that's where the issues start. They don't have another runner again until 23. They have 7 in the top 40 right now. But that needs to improve over these last 2 kilometers if they're going to make a run and keep this streak alive as they descend with 1,500 meters to go. We'll see if Monson uses this little burst to just to get going.
And Monson not separating herself yet. We're getting close to the finish, less than a mile to go. Monson is being content to stay in that front group and not really hammer it just yet. Maybe she's waiting after this uphill to make that move.
Well, her teammate Amy Davis is right there. These two are very familiar with each other, going back to their high school days, trained together. You mentioned that indoor race last year. Monson was in the race and cheering for Amy Davis, just trying to do everything she could to get that 1-2 finish, and they got it. So it was a dream come true to get that result. Maybe her presence there, just giving that little bit extra to Amy Davis to say, come on, come with me.
See, when is Monson going to make the move? Because she's letting 6 other runners with her by not making the move early. And, maybe she's, like you said, trying to stay back with Amy Davis and pull it along to a top 5 finish. Abby Nichols, the home course favorite, not home course favorite, but like just on her home course, is also there in the mix from Ohio State. But we have a group of 7 runners duking it out in final 1,200.
And I see Vanderlyn drop back there, and I think that's a little bit significant because she likes to be at the front. So if she's not at the front, perhaps that's a sign of fatigue. But you see Monson there check behind, looking for her teammate. This is to be expected. This isn't without precedent. This has been done before by Monson and Davis in a championship race. It looks strategic to me. This is why Monson perhaps held back.
And this is the move. Monson is now making a move here, looking over her shoulder slightly, starting to pull away. Question is, who will respond, if any?
Well, you get a shot there on that top right, and you see nobody's responding at the moment. There's a gap, and the separation came. She couldn't really wait any longer. She's inside 1,000 meters. Has to make sure she secures the victory as they step over that 5K mat.
About 17 minutes.
But Davis still running really well.
Excuse me.
So we'll get these scores here through 5K. Alicia Monson has done one little pickup and essentially ended this race.
Yeah, she's gonna start
So Michigan State has their top 5 in the top 15.
It's hard to beat.
It's hard to beat. See where Wisconsin and Michigan's fifth are. Waiting on Wisconsin's 5th and Michigan's 5th. So Michigan's 5th is 28th. So right now, Michigan State with a 30-point lead over, only a
12-point lead.
8-point lead over Wisconsin. So Wisconsin could pull off the upset. Right now, Michigan State 56 points with their 5th and 15th. Wisconsin 64 points with their 5th and 32nd. So if Wisconsin's 5th can close 8 points from 32 down to the 26-25 range, that could be the way Wisconsin can beat Michigan State.
Well, that gap that you mentioned that they need is about 9 seconds from 32 points down to 26 points at this moment. So it would take a pretty big comeback, but maybe they can get a point here, a point there, or maybe they're getting some slippage from Michigan State. But right now the Spartans look really solid. Monson takes a look behind. There's no one going with her. The only issue here now is this team title. And we'll see. Amy Davis getting second will be a huge result for the Badgers. And right now, she's holding off Kurtenstein and Fuller, but only just barely. Behind them is Abby Nichols of Ohio State.
Yeah, if Fuller can finish second here and Davis finishes 4th, that's a flip of 4 points, which then closes the gap even more.
Mm-hmm.
So
Alicia Monson in the final 300 meters for the Badgers. She came in as the national favorite. She's going to leave the favorite as well, too. This is easy work on a Sunday for Alicia Monson. 2 weeks from now, she'll run the regional race. She'll cruise through that. So there's no reason to think that she's going to come into championship, the NCAA championship, anything other than a favorite. So that's Kurtenstein into second. Fuller and Davis, they're battling for third and some crucial team points as well. Monson takes a look behind. As you get a look at the next finishers there, Nichols, Vanderlyn, the next two across the screen, and then you're going to start to see the power of the pack there for the Spartans on the right of your screen. 2 of them just pass. But here's Alicia Monson winning another Big Ten title, defending her crown, and again, cementing herself as the NCAA championship favorite. Any issues she had in the spring are long behind her now. She's Big Ten champion again. It's Alicia Monson of Wisconsin.
So that's Bailey Kurtenstein taking the runner-up finish, the sophomore. Big improvement from her freshman year. Annie Fuller closing well for third over Amy Davis of Wisconsin. So Wisconsin goes 1-4. Michigan State has a 3 there, and then let's keep track of these points as they come through.
So Michigan State's second there comes through.
Yeah, so Michigan State has 2 in the top 8, Wisconsin 3 in the top 9, 4 in the top 13. So Wisconsin closing well. We'll see where Wisconsin's 5th is. But right now, Michigan State scored 56 points, putting their 5 in the top 16. What will Wisconsin's 5th come in? We are waiting patiently for Wisconsin's 5th.
Nervous moments here, no doubt, for these two teams. Great pack running, though, by the Spartans there to get it done. Wisconsin's top 4 was good, but not good enough.
So Michigan's 5th came in at 27th. Still winning. Wisconsin's 5th finishes 35th, so that secures it. Michigan State wins it with 56 points to Wisconsin's 62. Hold on to that 6-point victory.